the way that we think about our conversational framework is engage, understand, recommend. And in your book, I found that you outline sort of a similar framework within the context of social media. So I'd like to sort of break that down for our listeners. So starting with engage, how can sellers effectively engage their prospects on social media?
So I think this bit really for me is about the importance of not only being able to find prospects, find people that you want to engage with, but also it's going to be about how you are found by people. So what are you, why are people seeking you out? Why would they be interested in what you want? So this is about building a professional brand, your own personal brand alongside your company brand. So getting some of your own personality and own thinking and own expertise in there, but also utilizing that relationship that you've got with your organization and establishing yourself, as a thought leader, but as somebody who has real knowledge and value to your network. And that's really that key element at the beginning, I think, is that presence that you have and that reputation that you have. And that's can be very, very, that's going to last you through the full strength of your relationship, really. But that establishment is really key.
So not just posting like really salesy posts, but more becoming a thought leader and building that personal brand.
Yeah, so I would say that, LinkedIn recommend that at least 60% of content should be brand building, and only a small amount should be sales activation. But that really is your corporate content. That's not your personal content. Really on LinkedIn or on it, whatever the channels are that that you choose to use, because in different markets and different sectors, you may find other channels are more useful for you. But I would say the vast majority of your content shouldn't be sales activation, if any, because actually the sales conversation itself is most likely to happen not on social media. It's probably going to happen on the telephone in kind of meetings like this, or face to face, or via, you might have a buying portal or something like that where things are going, we're having mutual conversations. So social isn't really doing the sell, it's doing the relationship, right, the trust building, the reinforcement, all of those other things. And so I think that content is very important. It doesn't have to be content you've created yourself. It could be the curation of content that's really, is useful and interesting to your network. But it does need to be aimed at putting that customer first. It's what they're going to find interesting and useful.
So it sounds like the best practices, the tips is like be useful, be helpful, and make sure that you are not just posting the sales activation, that you have a nice mix of what types of content you're posting.
Yeah, definitely.
Great. So once a seller has engaged with the prospect, right? And like you said, that might not happen on social. It might have happened through a different channel. How can the seller continue the conversation and continue building that relationship?
So I think this is about keeping that conversation going. So it's not about having the hard sell, as I say there, but you can start to understand the kind of topics, the issues, the areas that are interested in, not only them, but, you may work in an account-based marketing approach. You might have a visibility of who that broader buyer network is. And so what you want to understand is what groups they're joining, what conversations they're engaged in, what's of interest to them. And also starting to ask questions and be asked questions as they sort of move through that journey. And I think over time, you'll start to spot some of those signals, which will tell you that they're moving into buying mode, that they're starting to go, into that consideration of which suppliers they might want to talk to, and therefore hopefully you're best placed to be able to support them in that decision making journey. So, you know, shaping what the solution requirements might be, all of those kind of things can start to work on social. Certainly giving access to and directing people back to your website and making sure that, you know, you've got that continual conversation happening. So I think that's probably the kind of most powerful thing that you can do, really.